it's like you don't even know where to focus because everything is crazier. And it seems like this is stuff that should be in fiction, but it's actually happening.
Yes. I will wake up in the morning and go, that was all a dream, right? Nope, nope, this is
No,
reality.
no, that's real. Real. I mean, like, feel like people who wrote for The West Wing, the TV show, could
Yes,
never have come up with anything this insane. Even Veep, like the
yes.
joke. They couldn't-
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I think the the doom scrolling that I would do to put myself to sleep previously is a lot darker and
Yep.
more sinister than the light, fluffy videos that I once watched or the empowering videos that I once watched.
Oh yeah. And the most played song on my Spotify right now is "We're in the middle of a hostile government takeover."
It's appropriate. It's appropriate.
Yeah, and I think that's all the song is like from Instagram. And they put it on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I guess to highlight a few of those things that are keeping us up day and night is the one that's still sticking in my head that's the most disturbing right now. And it has a lot to do with when we talk about how men can be better allies. Um, there's a video circulating right now about a woman who's a doctor um, in Idaho that came to her local town hall meeting and was just speaking, exercising her First Amendment right, just speaking about her thoughts and opinions on, I can't remember what it was actually on, was it Medicaid or Medicare or something? But either way, like whatever she said was offensive, I guess, to those that didn't see or appreciate her opinions. Certainly wasn't offensive in the manner of tone
No.
or words that she was using, but just offensive to someone with a different opinion. And they ended up forcibly removing her from the town hall.
With
And
zip
not
ties,
with zip ties, yes, like putting her on the floor, random
not
men.
police officers, or if they were, they wouldn't identify themselves. I
Yes,
mean, terrifying.
terrifying
And it
just for
wasn't even just
speaking.
her who was loud in the town hall. And frankly, that is what a town hall is for.
Absolutely. Yes. You're supposed
And
to
for
be able
them
to
to try
come
to,
as a public and voice your opinions or voice your
yep,
concerns.
and for them to act like it was a big deal that people were disturbing it, they are your constituents. That is their right.
Yes,
That is what happens.
100%. And I think that
Yeah.
just not only is that disturbing as a fellow woman, um, the fact that she was knowledgeable on the topic that she was talking about, not that you like fully need to be,
Yeah.
again, but we're making, potential excuses here for the conversations that happen. But and to see on the video that you heard people trying to comment and ask what they were doing, why they were removing her, but you didn't see anyone stand up and
Yeah.
block her way or block the others. And I'm not saying that you have to do it in an aggressive sort of way. Just
Yeah.
forming a line in front of someone is is enough, I would think, to back some people off. And it's really disturbing to see that this is where we're at right now in the year
Yep.
2025.
And even the voices that you heard asking about like what the hell is happening, get your hands off her, were female voices.
Yeah.
Like, did no man find that disturbing that random dudes were pushing a woman on the ground and zip tying her? Like,
Yeah. Also,
just
random fact, who just carries zip ties on them? That seems
yeah,
odd too.
that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
are you
man.
just planning on kidnapping people because that's a thing you do?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah,
anyways, that's one that still is kind of sticking with me. And it's just I feel like what is happening right now in the world is giving permission to be hateful, giving permission to be uh I don't
Awful
even have the
human
words
beings.
for it. Just yeah, it's just not
But the thing is
kind
that,
humans.
I mean, this has happened since 2016. It's continued to get worse. And then we're like surprised now that
Yeah.
the average person is getting harmed by these things. I mean, you continue to vote against your own interests.
Yeah.
It's just, actually, I don't know if this is what she was talking about, but it kind of goes along with the same thing we're talking about, that the Save Act, where no, maybe it was a different one, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there's so much nonsense that's happening
Yes.
about, was it like 69 million women have changed their name when they've gotten married. And this guy proposes a law that your birth certificate has to match your license to be able to register to vote, and you have to register in person. And how many women do not have that? And yes, you can have a marriage license or whatever, but if the law specifically says your birth certificate has to match your ID, are you, is it purposeful to get women to not be able to vote?
Yeah.
I also thought, like, thank God my name's back to life.
Yeah, I mean, that would certainly cause a problem for me. And it's just another way to try and put people, try and remove, voices, try and remove um uh the freedoms that we've already gained over many years of fights. I I never understood this when I was a kid and watching Mary Poppins, when
Yes.
the mom was going around saying votes for women, and now I start seeing that song like recirculating now, and I'm like, why? How are we back here again, where we're having to bring about keep what has already been created for us?
Hmm.
It's insane.
And how does an unelected official, an like not even verified by the Senate, have the power to make a lot of these changes too, outside of this like Save
Mhm.
Act and everything like that? Like, have our social security number, have our tax that is fundamentally wrong.
Yes.
And yeah, like, okay, the court's trying to block it, but if you don't have the right judges or people who are willing to stand up, that's the other thing that I've noticed too. Like, all of these Republican congressmen and women and senators who are Republican and are just like going along with the flow, even though you know they do not agree with this.
Mhm.
But what are you, just terrified that you're going to be punished? That's your job. Your job is to stand up to your constituents, stand up for your constituents, not to you.
Yeah.
But but like, that's your job, and you're just so scared of this puppet master
Yeah.
of being punished that you
I do
can't.
want to I do want to say too, like I know that a lot of people are making the argument that, oh, you're just a Democrat and you're just against Republicans. It isn't about parties for me.
No, I used to be a Republican.
Yeah.
This is not the Republican Party. I mean, obviously my views have drastically
Yes.
changed because this
Yeah.
party is unrecognizable. But you
Yeah,
know,
this isn't a party line issue for me. This is the difference between right and wrong and
yeah,
justice and injustice.
yeah. I mean, like, all for fiscal responsibility. This isn't being fiscally irresponsible. This is stupid. Firing people that manage our nuclear weapon safety, firing
Yeah.
people who are figuring out health and safety for the bird flu, and then having to try to hire them back, having 17-year-olds make these decisions who know nothing about how a government is run, and yet, and trying to like make up for these billionaire tax cuts by cutting Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, yet you're giving Elon Musk more government contracts. I mean,
Mhm.
how is this not just like blatantly clear what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah, and
It's,
unfortunately, I feel like there's starting to be, I don't want to call it an awakening, but I feel like there's starting to be like the light bulbs are starting to go off for some people. But I think that there's a vast majority of people that until it affects their pocketbooks, until it affects their home life, their own
Mhm.
personal world, it's not something that anyone feels strongly about right now.
Yeah. But one of the other things I find funny is all of a sudden these like white women are getting concerned because they didn't realize they are part of DEI. Like, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I don't care about anybody else or whatever happens to anybody else, but I don't know. Marjorie Taylor Greene, guess what? You're a female and you're allowed to be in Congress. That's kind of this like diversity, equity, and inclusion part where we're
Mhm.
allowing women to now be in roles that only men held before.
Yeah,
Not realizing this stuff is just,
it's
uh,
baffling. It's baffling.
yeah, the,
Or was it a senator that who is disabled himself in a
yeah.
wheelchair signing a bill that would remove the DEI, which helped him. Like DEI also includes giving accessibility to people that wouldn't normally have it, giving, making people put ramps in businesses so that you could all access the building. Um,
Like, I don't know if
it's
this
so
is just the
short-sighted.
mental, yeah, I don't know if this is the mental gymnastics that people have to do to justify whatever, cult worshipness that seems to be happening, or if they are just that stupid. And I hate saying that because I think that is awful to call someone stupid, but when you're attacking our education system, you don't want people to learn anymore. You want this, I mean, masses are easier to control when they are uneducated.
Yeah, that was the exact there was a word that was used when they were describing the removing of all of the healthcare and really removing all of these things that there are so much of our population that depend on. And what does that make them? That makes them more malleable to
Mhm.
whatever someone else is needing from you, of you, controlling, whatever it is. Like you not having those things means you will bend your values. You will bend what you normally would consider doing to get those things back or to be taken care of in the way that we have funding for right now.
Which is also crazy because it all of these support systems are being taken care of the people from people, a good majority of them who voted for this president.
Mhm.
And so what are you
Yes.
going to do now? Are you going to go to a town hall and start being angry about it, about the person that you voted for? Which you're seeing some people come out like farmers. Oh, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're individually impacted and you are starting to stand up and notice. But all the signs are on the wall. They said exactly what they were going to do. And now
Mhm.
people are being surprised by it. It's
Yeah.
just,
And I think the scariest part is just the speed of which these things are happening.
mhm. Because yes, we have a judicial system that should not allow a president to make decisions on how Congress has decided to spend the money. Like that's
Mhm.
what they've approved, but it's happening and nobody's stopping it until the judicial system comes in and puts a stop to it. But at that point, how long has it gone? You can't just turn on foreign aid.
Right.
And the fact that people are so against foreign aid and don't understand that it is about our safety as well. Now we don't spend that much on it. It's less than 1% of our entire budget.
Yeah. And I think another kind of tactic that people use to show that it seems like a lot of money is when you say the billion or trillion dollar amount line item that it is on the budget. But what is the total budget? What is exactly what you said? It's 1% of the full budget. That's
Mhm.
not that's not a lot considering everything else that we've got.
No, and I know that there was a poll just recently about like people how much of our budget they think foreign aid is, and a vast majority think it's like a fourth of our budget, and it is 1%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we spend the most of our budget on war, military.
Yeah. Ugh. So I know that like this is just a couple of the things that are running through our heads, and I think having space to talk through these things, not feel like you're alone, or that you're being isolated during times like this is, I think, one of the biggest things that I certainly have leaned more on my women friendships in the last
Yeah,
couple of months here, just to build like build that community, build that camaraderie of like, I
try to
cannot,
feel sane.
yeah, exactly. Feel sane, feel safe. Safe is a big piece of this right now too. Um, so
Yep.
I know one of our next chats here is going to be about what are we doing to try and keep sane during this?
Yeah.
Um,
And I think you're right, like a big part of it, and we'll talk more with like just talking to each other.
mhm,
You feel less safe and less able to make any action on what you feel is wrong when you feel like you're alone.
yeah.
But like I mentioned to you, it was a couple weeks ago where I'm like, at this point, if I'm on a government list, I'm on a government list. So,
Yeah.
there's
Yep.
nothing I can do to keep anyone safe, myself safe. So why not continue to stand up for what is actually right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's empathy. It's empathy. It's caring for other people. Am I personally impacted by a lot of the things that are going on right now? The money that's being, not really, not feeling it that much, but I will. People
Yep.
around me will. My
Yes.
neighbors,
100%. Yeah.
family
Family.
members,
Yep. Yeah.
just, and for me to not care because it's not impacting me is what is wrong with America.
Yes. Yeah. That the whole community aspect of looking out for one another seems to be a little seems to be missing a little bit right now.
Yep. I remember I read an article, gosh, has to be back in like 20 2016, 2015, talking about America's toxic
Mhm.
individualism. Um, and I remember thinking that like that has stuck with me, and I feel like this is what you're seeing now,
Yeah. Yeah.
the outcomes of that.
Yes. Ugh. Well, this has been quite the chat.
Yeah, on that
15
depressing
minutes,
note,
and that's just 15 minutes. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking next about how to keep sane. So
yeah.
until then.
All right.